Welcome back to Blue Zone Homestead. Today I have planned a very busy day. I don't know how many liters of goat's milk I have front of and behind me. Today is going to be the biggest milk processing day I think I've ever had. I have got so many on the floor, on the auger, on the table. These are from the fridge, they are good few days old, up to a week. Behind me on the floor is out of the freezer. I just wanted to use up most of the milk from the freezer, and I have decided today is the day. So we are making butter, cheese, and I'm probably gonna use some cream or milk up. We're going to make bean soup. These beans are from last year's garden and they really need to be used up because we haven't got long now until we're gonna have our fresh beans from the garden for this year. So I've got 2/4 jar green beans in here. But before we start, it's still early, I'm going to go to do the chores, milk the goat, feed the chickens, turkeys, dogs, ducks, everybody. And I'm going to pick a big bunch of rose because at the moment the rose is the prettiest flower in my garden. So I thought I'm gonna cheer me up in this big day today. I'm gonna pick a huge bunch of rose bouquet, and I'm making also bread as well. So I made this yesterday. I only need to put this to the oven. I've already got the cast iron pan preheating, so I'm actually gonna deal with this right now. I'll put it in and go and do the chores. So we need a lovely fresh crusty sourdough bread with our bean soup today. So that worked out perfect. I'm just gonna score the bread and let's put it to the oven. This is now very hot, it's in a roasting pot, and I'm going to put it in for 45 minutes. Lid on. Off it goes. I am very curious how much milk we're gonna process today, so I'm gonna get my big measuring jug out and we're going to find out how many liters we're dealing with today. I bought this rose bush, must be about 5-6 years ago, and look at it now, how absolutely fantastic it's looking. Honestly, I don't know how many times of the size it is now. I've planted this one only a few years ago over here. So I've decided to make a nice bouquet with them all. Let's make a bouquet. So I've got 4 different rose varieties in here. What I like on the most, it's got thorn, no thorn on them. There are a couple what's got one, so I need to be careful. Although I've removed it. And this, I really enjoy making these flower arrangements. And it will just smell so gorgeous. Right, let's in here now. So
I can't remember when I bought the last bouquet of the shop. I honestly can't for myself. Like, you know, I really enjoy growing my own cut flowers as such, or any flowers what I can use in the kitchen. And I'm experimenting with more and more every year. So, such a lovely journey. I've sown loads from seed this year, so this is, I think, the most exciting year so far with my cut flowers.
I think this is really pretty. What do you think? I'm just going to fill it up with water. I've got 15 minutes left until I need to take the bread out of the oven. So I thought I might as well just start with the first batch of cheese making before I go and do the chores. So I've got the 15-litre pot. I'm aiming to put about 13-ish litre to that pot to bring up to temperature. So we're going to bring it up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit today. And then we're going to put the rennet in it, and while that's setting, about 40 minutes, I'll go and do the chores. And that should be done for cutting the curd when we're back. What do you think about my flower? I absolutely love picking flowers from the garden, so that's what I aimed for when we sowed all these seeds earlier in the year, to get cut flower and bring it into the house so we can make our own flower arrangements. I've got the cream separator as well. That's gonna be our second job today when it's all done. So very close to 4 litre. So that's 4. Reuse these bottles, so I asked the family members to collect for me because I've not bought milk for, I don't know, must be about 5 years now from the shop. So yeah, I reuse these. So 8 litre. Thirteen litre we've got. Perfect. I'm just going to wash these as we go, so I haven't got millions in the end. The bread is now ready. Just after 45 minutes. Look how beautifully it's opened up and looking delicious. And it's slowly coming up to temperature. 68. We still got a little time to go because we're aiming to that 90 degrees Fahrenheit. 69. Yeah, we still got a little bit to go. The milk is up to temperature, so I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of animal rennet in half a litre of water, and I'm going to stir this in to my 13 litre milk really well. And then I stop the motion of the milk, cover it and leave it for 40 minutes. We are ready to cut the curds. And then we're going to put this back on medium heat. And I'm going to heat this up for 100 degrees Fahrenheit in 30 minutes. So nice and slow. And keep stirring constantly. And take the temperature. We don't want this to heat up too high. Very gently at the moment, because these curds are very soft still. Right, I'm going to make butter next. So from goat's milk to make butter is a bit of a process. I need to use my cream separator because the goat's milk, it's naturally homogenized. So the cream, it doesn't go on the top of the milk. We have to use a machine to separate it. So I need to have some preparation first. So I've got it's hot water, but it's about 148 degrees Fahrenheit now. And I'm going to put this through to heat up all the parts in that machine. And I've already heated up our milk. I'm starting with 13 liters of goat's milk in 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to put that through the machine. And after we run it through, I'm gonna heat up another 13 liters and so on.
The reason I'm using 13 liter because that's my biggest pot so far. So I just have to use what I've got kind of. In the future I really need to buy some bigger 30 liter huge pans for these big processing days, to be honest. But at the moment I'm just filling them in, I'm measuring it out. I've got this 4 liter jug and all the milk was defrosted or defrosted already on top of the agar. I'm just measuring it to the jug, put it in a pan, and I'm heating them up to temperature, what is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I had to strain it through and put it through the cream separator. So yeah, it took me a while. I did make a mess here and there, so I had to do some cleaning as well, but that's part of the day, part of the process. And this little measuring jug didn't work really well. It was a bit leaky, so I need to think of another plan next time. But yeah, all in all, it was a great experience. I've only used the cream separator maybe about a handful of the time. So this is something I would like to use more often, sort of like on a regular basis in the future, so we can make butter more often. That's my plan anyway.
I've just processed 40 liters of goat's milk. I've never done this much in one day. So that is an accomplishment. Everything went well. The only thing what I need to, do probably in the future with the frozen milk, they clogged up the machine a few times, but I've sorted that out, the mistake out in the beginning. So I had to put it through the sieve before I put it in a cream separator, but otherwise everything went well. And look how much lovely cream we've got. We're gonna make butter with all these, and all the leftovers, tip bucket full of milk. Now I'm making cheese again. So yeah, we're halfway through the business. So I'm just putting the rennet in. I've just heated this milk up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got 13-litre milk in here, about a teaspoon of rennet. And now I'm just going to leave it to it for about half an hour to 40 minutes until it sets before we do the next step. And we finished with the milk cream separator. So I'm gonna take this apart now. I've just cut this second cheese curd up, and this can go back on heat now for half an hour. And we're going to heat this up for 100 degrees. Take it off and put it back on, because I don't want this to be heated up so quick. So let's see how much of this lovely cream we've got. Oh, look at this lovely cream. So I'm going to put them in quart jars, because now I won't have time today to make the butter, but we'll make this tomorrow. One cheese is done, second cheese is in making, and let's see how many more we can do today. I've only got one large mold and one pot, so I can't go fast mode. Never mind. Okay. The cheese is nearly up to temperature, so I'm going to remove some of that whey, probably about, I don't know, 5 litre, and put that 5 litre water back, just to room temperature water, and bring it back and another 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and try to keep it there for half an hour on that temperature before we're gonna strain and make another cheese like this. I usually wait overnight, but I haven't got time to try. So I'm going to remove this now from the cheese mold and get the cheese mold ready for the next one. We managed to have 3 quarts of cream out of the lovely goat's milk, and this is our cheese. I'm just going to pop it in here and cover it. Put this in the fridge in the meanwhile, because now I haven't got a time to cook. So I put the beans to the fridge, and I took some freezer meal out goulash soup, so that's what we're going to have with the crusty sourdough bread for dinner tonight. So I'm just going to wash the mold and get it ready for the next cheese. It is the next day, and I would like to show you how all this cheese turned out, what we've made yesterday. So we've used up altogether 50 litre milk, 40 frozen and about 10 fresh. So, and look at all this beautiful cheese what we've made. They are looking fantastic. Look at this beautiful cheese. So what I do now, I just leave it out for a good few days. I cover it up like that to just settle. That's another one in here, a smaller cheese wheel. got one in here. Look. I've got this one there. Cover it back up. Keep them fresh because they're now wet. Still leaking some way out. So I'm just gonna do it like that. We have like a fresh dressing until they proper dry out. Like this. I'll put this in a compost. No waste. And then we've got this one as well. So it was a big job. The cream separator went really well. The one thing I've noticed, what took me a little bit of a time to work out, was the only problem, if you can say that. From all the frozen milk, when they defrosted and I've heated them up, put them through the cream separator, it clogged up that bit, you know, that when I turn it clockwise, anti-clockwise, kind of on and on the milk flow, and there's two small holes and it's clogged up like these little cheesy bits. It's already naturally happened while I was heating up the milk. So, but as soon as I worked that out, so I just had to strain through. I strained the whole milk what I've heated up before I put it to the cream separator, and it worked as a treat then. So we ended up with skimmed milk. So most of this cheese, it's with skimmed milk. So the big wheel, it's with fresh milk, and the rest with skimmed milk. And then from 40 litre we had about 3 quarts of very thick cream. Look at this. I was a bit scared, but no, they are so thick. So we're gonna make, using all these 3 quarts, we're gonna make butter today. So another job what I need to do today, deal with these sweet potatoes. So I haven't got more space really now in a polytunnel, and outside they just don't grow really well for me. So I'm gonna do probably pots, or I don't know. I'll just still have to try it outside anyway. But these submerged potatoes from shop, they sent up all these lovely shoots, and then I put them in a jar of water. So we've got lovely root system now, and they can go to the compost or to any pots to potted them on. So this is another job I would love to do today. But the weather is just so cold out there. I cannot believe it is June and we had 3 degrees, the lowest. Last night, was it night before, so early morning yesterday, at some point in the early hours in the morning we had 3 degrees Celsius, what is just really cold for loads of plants out there. Even in a greenhouse got really cold, like 5-6 degrees, 7. So it's gonna be a slower start now, I think, but I'm hoping it's only 5th of June, 6th today actually, that we're gonna warm up the weather, and then everything is just gonna start growing even better, even though they are growing and they are there. But I can see that on the sweet potatoes, I've straight away noticed in a polytunnel that damage when their leaves just turned from green to this purpley and yellowy, you know, they shock the cold weather. But can't change the weather, so it is what it is. We try our best. Okay, let's do this. We are ready to make the butter. Look at this beautiful cream. So thick. It doesn't want to come out from the jar. Unbelievable. Okay, I've got 1 quart in here. Let's try with this 1 quart first. Let's get the paddle. I've got the cloth and the guard, and let's do this. So what I've decided to do with the 3 quart of cream, what we managed to have when we separated the cream from the milk, with the 1 quart I've made butter, turned out amazing. With the 2nd quart I've made whipping cream, and since then now I've made a lovely chocolate cake and chocolate cream with it. And the 3rd quart, it's still in the fridge, and I'm going to make ice cream with the whole lot. So we're gonna have all different flavor, the ice cream with that. But yeah, it only took me 1 minute to make this butter. Honestly, that cream was that thick that it was super quick. So I really enjoyed it. I found it's easier if I cool the cream out first, not in room temperature. It's so much quicker. So I literally took maybe an hour before I made this butter, the cream out of the fridge, and it literally took me 1 minute to make this butter. And just like that, we have got butter. We've just made a homemade butter. I am just running the cold water in the tap because we're going to have to wash our butter. But you can see how the buttermilk is separated from the butter. You see? But we still need to wash our butter under cold water. So I'm just taking this over to the sink, and we're going to carry on the next step there. I am going to wash some more buttermilk out of this butter so it lasts longer for us. We'll wash this until our water runs pretty clean. We need like cold water. So we don't want our butter to melt. I'm going to salt the butter and put it in mold. Our water is now getting clear, so that means we're nearly there. Perfect. I'm just going to put this, so make sure all the buttermilk will drain. And while this is draining, we can do the next lot. And look at you guys, it's a home-made goat's butter. It's ready. So I'm gonna put this over this jug and let this drip a bit more.
After a good few minutes, when the buttermilk dripped through that sieve and we ended up with this lovely butter, I've put them in that mold, the large mold on the table. But now I'm making a whipping cream, and that cream, it's so thick that it didn't want to come out of the jar. So it's made such a fluffy, lovely whipping cream. I've put a little bit of an icing sugar and I think about a tablespoon of cocoa powder to it, and that's what I filled our chocolate cake with. And we've already had some and it is delicious. So now I'm filling the mold. I love to use these silicone molds for several things in my kitchen to store things. So sometimes I use it and freeze things in it and just easy to pop out and put it in a plastic bag. This time I decided to put the butter. I'm just salting it now with pink Himalayan salt, not too much, a few sprinkle, and just laying it out level, so make sure every part of that mold receives our lovely goat's butter. After that I've just tied it up a bit. I've just used kitchen towel. And just like that, we've got 2 large butter. I can put this in a freezer, next day pop it out, wrap it and put it back in a freezer, but I've left this out in a fridge and we've already started using the one. So I can bake with it, I can cook with it, I just use it as a spread, whatever we would like. But because I put some salt in it, I probably won't be baking with this one, but we're going to use it up on toasts and in my cooking. And I am just finishing off the cream now. So I'm just grabbing an icing sugar and a cocoa powder. And we're gonna have a taste test in a sec. And me and Albi both think that this is absolutely delicious. So in this moment, I've decided that it's gonna be the cream for our chocolate cake. So the 3rd quart of the butter what's on the table with a yellow top on, I've put it back to the fridge, and probably today I am going to make a lot of ice cream with it, so all different flavors. But yeah, I really enjoy spending time in the kitchen, and thank you so much for being here with me, and see you very soon. Bye friends!